Thank you so much for making the time to talk to me today. If I ever, I just wanted to let you know if I ever like shiver or anything throughout the interview, it's just because I got my second dose of Pfizer yesterday, and
Nah, I completely
I'm a
get you.
little under the weather. Yeah,
I
yeah.
completely get you. I had my first last week and it was rough.
Mm.
I completely
Did you
get
have a
you.
reaction to it as well?
A little bit from like the first few hours, but after that it went away. But it was strange.
Okay, all right. All right. Well, first off, I just wanted to ask. You tweeted a bit of backstory for the track "Love Letters" a while back off of the project.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if you could take us track by track and explain your thought process. You know, where each song came from.
Okay. So yeah, love letters is basically about how I'm going to graduate soon and I'm gonna have to leave my town because I don't wanna I do not want to be in
Right.
my state, of course, and I'm gonna have to leave my girlfriend behind and how that's gonna play out, which is definitely gonna like impact me a lot because that's the only person I have my age and like in real life. I guess all of my other friends are on the computer and over the internet. So that's what love letters is about. Window watching was started as a journal entry actually. It was more just me. I diary a lot and I write a lot of poetry, so it's just me putting stuff like that together and just making a song. Just really upset one night, just went and put into one extremely introspective song.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me. It's so weird because that's like the biggest song off the EP, and that song was kind of like that song was bullshit. Like it wasn't like
Just like kind of threw it out there. Or...
I was like, I just want to make a cool pop song that people were gonna like dance to. And that's kind of what that was. And Scatterbrain was like definitely one of my more negative songs, just about thinking about how I can get self conscious in relationships, and that's kind of where Scatterbrain. The entire thing overall is just about love and how love affects me. So yeah.
Right. I mean, that's that's interesting that you mentioned that there's like, you know, like a really deep song about how love affects you, and then another song about your girlfriend, and then a song that just adds a fun pop
Yeah,
banger.
exactly.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's valid. But you mentioned you're going to college. Where are you headed off to next year?
I have no clue. I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I'm actually my junior year, so I haven't like I
Oh,
yeah. I'm
got it.
actually
Got it. Okay.
so I just took my SAT like it was yesterday. I just took my SAT. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, God. Yeah. No, it's always stressful. Did you have to take it online or
No,
what?
they had me come into my school and we were just separated apart
Hmm.
and just took it that way. I think I did pretty good. I want to go to New York. That's the goal.
Oh, like well, like NYU or?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. No, NYU is a fantastic school. Are you looking to study music or what?
No, I think I'm gonna major in English. I want to do journalism and maybe write a few books. That's like, but I also have to like keep in mind if how like measure how music is by then. Like if I'm about to graduate high school and music's like popped off, then like yeah, I'm probably gonna have to like adjust that maybe. If NYU has like audio engineering, I'd probably go into that too.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, like, it's interesting that like you're like even looking that far off in the future. I thought you were a senior. That's my bad. But it's interesting that you're looking.
No, I mean I would think that too if I'm even thinking about song like love letters. Like I would
Right.
think like
Yeah.
that's kind of far ahead, but
Yeah. No, I mean it's interesting that you're thinking that far ahead because a lot of people in your situation with such a promising music career ahead of them would just like decide to put all their eggs into the music basket.
yeah,
Like for example, like Glaive, for example, has been very vocal about the fact that if they can pursue music as like a career straight out of high school, they're going to. So I'm wondering, yeah,
not
so,
even like that. It's I don't know because like my entire life, school has been my number one priority.
hmm,
I go to a private school. I'm in like all honors and AP. I'm like school is my number one priority. So
okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I got a 1350 on the SAT. I'm guessing you're gonna get better than me. So.
Wow, that's really good. What
Eh,
the hell? Where did you go to? That's good. What?
it's all right. It's all right, I guess. But yeah, yeah. I didn't get that. I didn't get that crazy good of a GPA throughout high school. So yeah,
Okay.
that's the one downside of that. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome that you're putting a priority on school though, because obviously, like, there's a potential of the. I don't think it's falling apart anytime soon, but there's always the potential of it falling apart, and it's good to have a backup
Yeah.
plan. But Before we get to the point where you're at now, though, I'm sure you would have to go through like years of trial and error, seeing like what works and what doesn't for your sound and whatnot. So I'm wondering, how do you look back on like the earlier work from, let's say, like the beginning of your career?
Completely different from what it is now. I was making like abstract rap. Like I was like my favorite artist ever is Earl Sweatshirt. I have an Earl tattoo. Like he's definitely
Oh,
my
can we
number
see
one.
it?
Yeah, it's like it says Riot.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earl's like definitely my favorite artist ever. And before like I was making I guess hyper pop. I was making
Mm-hmm.
like abstract rap. I was listening to like Mike Navy Blue. I was inspired by that entire New York scene. I only started making pop music in like August. I just started singing recently. I didn't sing before. So it was kind of it wasn't much of a like developing sound. It kind of just happened. I think the song I heard was like Bad Girls Club by Eric. And then I sent it to one of my friends and I was like, we should do something like this. And then we just did. Like it just happened.
That's
And
awesome.
it's weird. Like, cause my sound, I don't know if it's necessarily developed because I feel like it's just the audience that's developed. Like I kind of just started making it. I'm not sure if I've gotten better in the past 6 or 7 months. It's kind of just that there's more people listening.
Hmm.
It kind of just it was just a very sudden change, and I guess I do kind of miss it back then because like then there wasn't many outside influences. I kind of like knew this one Eric song, but then everything else was kind of just listening based
Right.
on your creativity. But now since I've been doing it for a while, yeah.
Yeah. No, there's always like that feeling of like maybe going back to simpler times, but of course there's advantages to being in
Oh
the
yeah,
place you're at
of
now.
course.
And I mean, the community is absolutely exploded in the past couple months.
Yeah.
And something that's like come as a result of that is it feels like there's like a new collective that pops up every single week. Um,
That's so
like
funny. I started my own. That is so
yeah,
funny.
no, yeah, it's a Targeta, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I understand you're part of both No Heart and Targeta. Could you walk us
Yeah.
through how and why you went about going through joining both of those groups?
Okay, No Heart. This it was like December of last year, I guess. I've been friends with Delto, Chloe, for a
Hmm.
long time. She was like one of my very early friends when I got in the scene, and I knew she was a No Heart, so I just like asked her one day because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say something. I was in like an academy for like a bigger collective, like one of the
Hmm.
bigger biggest collectives in the scene. They had this thing where they like made an academy where it was like a trial run for
Hmm.
artists, and I realized I didn't really fit in that collective sound, so I wanted to go to No Heart. Talking to Draft for like a month about it. He keeps like delaying and saying we have to clear roster, blah blah blah. But the one night where I got into No Heart was the night where Mask Gorilla went live with Glaive on SoundCloud,
Hmm.
and I won that whole thing.
Oh
And
wow.
that's when like he was like, okay, you're definitely No Heart now. So that was
Hmm.
kind of what secured that spot for me. And Targeta was kind of just want to do something that I really liked that I saw other people weren't doing, which is one, there isn't a lot of straight indie pop in the scene, so I wanted to
Hmm.
pursue that. I also like writing and target as like a book. If you didn't know, like songs are gonna be released in like 10-minute chapters. So
Oh shit, that's really interesting.
yeah, it's gonna pursue in a book, and the chapters are gonna be out of order. Like we started planning this stuff, but yeah, I just want to do something different.
That's really fascinating. Yeah, I mean, I ask because the topic of collectives has sprung up in the community again
Yeah,
as Bloodhounds is unfortunately dissolved,
yeah.
but they've come to a close. So I'm wondering, like, as a member of No Heart yourself, what do you think causes members of this community to draw them like together and like form collectives like that so frequently?
Just like it's like high school, honestly. Like people just find friends fast, and people just having friends and having somewhere there. Like people are so. I've never been in like an environment as passionate as this community. Everybody's just so passionate. Like if you become friends the next day, you guys are like just like that. You guys are so close, and that's kind of what forms collective. It's a good collective starts with friends before it starts with music, for sure.
That's a good quote, actually. That's really fascinating. Yeah. Um, I mean, that's really fascinating. But something else that's been a really hot topic in the community lately is this sort of. There's been a lot of takes going back and forth about the social hierarchy that exists
Oh
in the
yeah.
scene. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. How there's a really heavy importance on like numbers, whether it be followers, monthly listeners, stuff like that. Um, And as like a burgeoning artist in this scene, have you ever experienced anything like any of the downsides, any of the upsides of that?
All the time. Like the downsides, I was like the first up until like February, I was experiencing that like every day. Like it was so weird.
Mm,
It was very strange. I guess it was pretty much until I got into noheart. Anytime I would try to insert myself like normally, I would always get like an example. I was in a group chat and there's like a bunch of higher artists than me. Like whenever I'd say something to like insert myself, somebody would be like, "Oh, you have like 150 followers." Like they would just talk down on me. And that's definitely something that I know and I see like a lot of smaller artists continue to deal with, like higher artists thinking that they can just say stuff just because they're a platform. And it's really fucked up.
yeah, that's frustrating because it puts more of like a focus on like rather than somebody's talent, just the amount of numbers they have behind them.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I feel like that's bound to happen. That happens in any creative field in general, but it's really
that is
frustrating to
so
see.
true. It's just it comes to your attention when it's happening to you, you know?
Hmm.
Like it's so easy to get witch hunted in this community. Like an artist just says something bad about another artist and it involves absolutely nobody like outside
Hmm.
of that altercation. Everybody just shits on that one artist. Like it's so easy to get witch hunted in this community.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, hopefully now that there's a more of like an importance brought to it, like I remember that tweet like blew up. There was quotes from like everybody talking about
Yeah.
it. Hopefully now that there's more of like a focus on it, hopefully it results in like less people contributing to it now that like everybody understands that it's like a shitty thing to
Yeah, for
engage
sure.
in.
There's been like artists that like kind of like I guess you could say break into the scene that like or like no like let me give my friend Juno for example.
Hmm.
He's definitely kind of broken that. The fact that like people thought Juno was like, oh, Juno's only gonna do good because he's friends with blah 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 and shit like that. People used to say a bunch of crazy shit about Juno, but now look at him. So like,
Yeah, Juno was so much fun to talk to. God, that was
yeah,
like literally probably my favorite person I've ever interviewed. So much fun.
yeah, I believe he's very very nice, very cool.
Yeah, very talkative as well. Loved talking about everything. Yeah, it was a ton of fun. But going back to what you said about the sort of concept you have for Targeta releasing music in like chapters and like having more of a focus on indie pop and that sort of realm, that's what drew me into Cherry Blossom Blooms. Was like sort of the unique way that you blended, I guess what you could call like elements of like hyper pop and like indie pop and all this alternative even. So I'm wondering what made you go in that direction with the album in general.
I don't know. I kind of just asked, like, also Al, the executive producer of the project. Like best friends. That's my best friend. We text every day, and they're like the one person in the community I'm off like always talking to. I don't know. I kind of just said I don't want as many EDM. There was really no inspiration. I kind of just said I want to do it, and it kind of just happened. There's
Hmm.
no actual like back thing. I think another one thing that did influence it though was like how bad people talk about it. Like people talk so bad about hyperpop for no reason. So I think
Hmm.
I was like, okay, so how I can't do a whole project of like beat boop because nobody's gonna listen. So like,
I can't do beat boops for a whole album straight.
I
That's so funny.
because nobody's gonna listen to it. So like I have to like indicate some level of seriousness because there's a gray area with hyperpop where you cross where it's like seriousness and beat boop, and you can't make a serious project if there's too much beat boop shit.
Very technical terms being thrown around in this conversation, I gotta say. But I gotta have more of like a strummy drummy beat instead of a beat boop beat. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think I mean you're right. I mean, it set the album apart from like other albums being released at the same time frame.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what are some of like your biggest inspirations when it comes to your music in general?
Oh, a lot of indie pop. Like my writing, I try to. I think like I don't know. This is something I've told a lot of like interviewers, which sounds so stupid. I'm sorry if it's a stupid quote because it's bullshit. But like I try to take complex ideas and just get down into like some words. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Complex feelings and try to like dumb it down as much as possible. Because a lot of the artists I listen to are like Mitski, Kill Moon, just a complex indie artist. That's all I listen to really. I don't listen to as
Hmm.
much music in the scene as compared to that kind of music. So that's where I get it really. I mean, personal experiences and indie music. I've been getting recently into like bedroomish stuff like Claro and Biba Doobie, but still, it's mostly from like yeah.
That's interesting because I mean, like, I feel like generally speaking, the sort of consensus that a lot of people in the scene, like a lot of like fans at least, think is like, oh, everybody in the scene just listens to like EDM and like their friends, and that's
I've
it.
never, I have the one EDM artist I listened to is like can't even think of his name because I just listened to him like for the first time last week, and it's because his new album came out. This is
Oh,
Porter Robinson.
Right, Porter Robinson.
That
Yeah,
was, that's the in like Dirty Bird because that's what I cried. But like those
right.
are the only EDM artists I've ever listened to. So I
Hmm. Yeah, that's funny. But I also understand you have a pretty extensive record collection. So I was wondering if you could you maybe give us a tour of some of, do you have them around you right now or?
I'll give you my favorite records I have.
Yes,
Okay.
I would love that.
It's my endless
Oh
vinyl.
my God, you have, what? What?
Just started out with this.
Yeah,
My
Jesus, you're starting off with a heater. My God, wow. Okay, and it's still in the foil too?
Yep. It was yep.
Wow. Okay.
And this one's on my wall. It's
Hmm.
my Stein Summer Up songs.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, did
Yeah.
you did you meet
I
Earl or?
actually didn't meet him, which is stupid because like
Hmm.
all the other tour dates allowed to meet him, but I couldn't
Oh,
meet him.
oh,
Yeah,
that's a
it's my
bummer.
song, Summer Up songs, and I'll give you one more.
And then you also had like What Could Possibly Go Wrong by Dominic Fike.
Yeah,
Love that album.
mine too.
Mm-hmm.
What is? I'm gonna let's end this on a good note.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm here for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. This one's pretty good. This is a limited
Oh my
pass around button.
gosh, that's
Yeah, it's like
awesome.
purple. It's so sick.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I also understand you have Phoebe Bridgers' Punisher. Um,
Yes.
it's the key to any
Love
woman's heart. But
I love you, Bridges.
yeah, I love it. Here, I don't know if you can see it all the wall. I have all mine on the wall, but I don't know if you can see that. Oh, but there's Phoebe
Yeah,
Bridgers up there. There's like Childish Gambino because of the
I have
internet.
the
Yeah,
same
all
one.
sorts of
Yep.
yeah, all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, your collection far outpaces mine though. Are there any records you're looking to pick up soon or?
Yeah, there's like an The Alchemist. He's dropping that project on Friday, and
Hmm.
it's like early. Yeah, I'm gonna get the like. It's like that $100 one. That's like all the money I have. It's like, I'm gonna spend it on that. So
The distro kid check coming in, about to drop it on a single
that
vinyl.
was that was merch money. So
Mhm. Right. I mean, like, hey, yeah. I'm wondering, have you ever thought about maybe getting one of your releases on vinyl or no?
I thought about it. But I don't think I have enough people that would buy it. My merch sold pretty well actually. I
Hmm.
don't know if people in the scene attract like to physical music.
I mean, like the one example I can think of, I was gonna make a joke about like, oh, the first hyperpop artist to get a vinyl record, but like, um, I believe it was Eric's remix of "Moving Like a
Oh
Zombie" with
yeah.
Umru. That one got a 7 inch. That one got a 7 inch, and that one like blew past its
It's
target. They
so
were like
true.
they were trying to fund like I think like $1,500, and they made like 5 figures on it. So
It's so true. That
yeah.
that would be interesting. I'm definitely interested in
Mhm.
like hopefully by like the end of the year I'll have a big enough fan base where I'm comfortable enough to be able to do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to like get like a physical copy of that. That'd be really
I think
awesome.
I would like freak out if I had a physical copy of my
Yeah.
music.
Yeah. It's like I remember you tweeted something about like buying your merch is like buying stocks in you. It's like investing in you.
That's literally what it is. I got
Right.
that from Gum. That's what he helped me learn. I'm
Right.
actually gonna be on that though, like, cause Gum's new album on that, and he prints like, if you know Gum, he prints like a shit ton of physical copies. He's always
Hmm.
selling colored vinyl and like CDs and
Hmm.
stuff. So that's gonna be cool to have.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's an expense. It's a big upfront cost, but I think seeing more members of the community generate stuff like that, it's always awesome to see.
Yeah.
Um, Next, I gotta ask something that sort of hits close to home to me because I believe we're about the same age. You're 17, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're about the same age. And whenever people like our age see artists like you like achieve such incredible things, there's usually like two thought like schools of thought that people fall into. A lot of people like look at you dropping like an EP from like inside your bedroom, and they think like, oh, holy shit, if they can do it, then I can do it. But unfortunately, something that happens all too frequently is like they look at like you being 17 or like Eric being 18 or Glaive going like fucking stupid nuclear right now at the age of
Right.
16, and they think like, damn, I've like accomplished nothing by comparison. So I'm wondering, what would you say to somebody who's maybe like interested in getting into music but is in that sort of discouraged position?
Use that as your passion. Definitely. If you get pissed off that you're not doing anything, go and use that to make something. Because that's literally what happened to me. I
Hmm.
was like fucking butt hurt when I was like, what the hell? Like these kids. I remember because Redvale lives like in PG County, and I live in PG County. I saw
Ooh, yeah.
Redvale pop the fuck off, and I was
Hmm.
making the same exact music as Redvale. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I just used that to just
Hmm.
push myself. Like
Yeah.
you can definitely get it. Like as long as you just put time into it, like you can with music. That's all it takes.
Hmm. Yeah, Niagara was Jesus. Niagara was really, really impressive. Yeah, I'm happy it's in the place recently. Did you watch the Wait music video that he put out recently?
I did.
Yeah, that was
I
super duper
did.
impressive. Right. And then the of course the flip side of that whole feeling of like being down on yourself for not getting enough done is obviously like artists are always their own worst critics. I think any creative can sort of relate to that feeling of like somebody being like, "Holy shit, this is really really well done. You did such a good
Yeah.
job on this." But you can only see like, "Oh, I fucked up like that maybe vocal line. I fucked up that
Yeah.
like delivery or something." So, and it's easy to maybe feel like your work doesn't stack up to people in the same field as you. So I'm wondering, have you ever felt any sort of like imposter syndrome with your work or?
Every time I make something, honestly,
Mm,
like, I've honestly like I've learned to not even think about it anymore. If
mm,
I make a song and I come back to it the day after and think it's shit, I'm not gonna throw it away. I'm just gonna keep it and drop it. Like it's not. Sometimes it's just not worth it. I don't
mm,
even know how to explain it. It's just like I can listen to Cherry Blossom Bloom and find 500 things I think are like
mm.
so fucked up. But then again, I have to realize that I'm listening as the creator and people are listening as listeners and they're not gonna realize that.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, like, yeah, exactly. There's always going to be things that like you see wrong in a project, but then like nobody else notices. So
Exactly.
it's difficult to like put yourself in the position of like the audience member, I guess. But
Yeah.
it's good that you're able to like move past it. That's like generally the consensus that I've found is a lot of people are like, yeah, it's always going to be there, but it's going to be impossible to move past it.
Right, exactly.
Right. So, something else that like personally drew me to this scene in general. I'm relatively new here, but something that
Yeah.
drew to me to the community is how like immensely accepting it is. Like everybody I've talked to in the scene has been like super generous, thoughtful, and caring, and it really seems like just about anything goes as long as you like treat other people with respect and are a decent human being. And it feels like sort of like a rejection of how the music industry has been historically. Like even like recent movements, like even like the SoundCloud rap movement, whether it be like having issues with homophobia, transphobia, whatever it may
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like, as a member of the community, what do you think makes members of it so accepting and willing to like work with just anybody?
Our backgrounds, we all have like common backgrounds, I guess. At least the people that I know, we're all, and most of us are in minority groups, and it's kind of like once you have that, it's kind of like that's kind of who you are. I don't know how to explain it. Like most of my friends, 3/4 out of my friends are LGBTQ or people of color. Once you have that and you understand who you are, you kind of are more willing to like accept and like just I don't know. It's just the community probably like this because of that for sure. Most of us, as you can see, are on the computer all the time and we're constantly just absorbing all of this information. So it's product of that too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, my sort of perspective on it is like maybe people that didn't necessarily, were maybe like didn't have enough creative outlets and like I guess what you could call the real world. Just because they're
That's
maybe
what
right, yeah, that because maybe they're like they're pushed away or maybe they aren't accepted by people in person. So then they go online and then find communities and then they all band together and then create some
that's how it
amazing work.
usually starts out. Yeah,
I remember I think it was Juno that tweeted like, if you're in this community and you're straight, you're lying.
that's literally that's pretty much how it is. That's because most people who make this kind of music because of friendships. It always starts with friendships. Like people that are actually directly involved in the community don't just like randomly just start making hyperpop. I feel like
Right.
it's because they form friends that are like them, and then it evolves into that.
Right. And if you're not, your name is Eliotto, and then, you know, in that case. But yeah. And I mean, it seems like there's like a new burgeoning artist going crazy in this scene every like 2 days. So I'm wondering if you could pick a handful of people to put our listeners onto right now, who would you pick?
Yeah. Elliot for sure. Elliot on Earth,
Mhm.
amazing. Basto, we have like the same amount of followers. Rory, I did a song with him recently. They're very good. Um, Bron Claire, very good artist. And one more. I'm gonna use this one more wisely. Uh, Ria, Aquella producer, very good producer.
Awesome, awesome. And then on a similar note, let's use this time to manifest some things. So if you could pick a handful of like dream people to hop on a song with, it could be like anybody. Like who would it be? It could be like Patchy Mate or Earl Sweatshirt. Who would you pick?
Patchy Mate. That is so funny because I actually was supposed to work with Patchy Mate, but
Oh, really? Okay.
Glaive is like I need that to happen. Mitski, that would be awesome.
Mm.
I want to work with 1 year.
Hmm.
I want to work with Billie Eilish, and I
Ooh.
want to work with like Taylor Swift. I think, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I'm gathering a lot of pop, a lot of indie influences.
Yeah.
Any Phoebe Bridgers in there at all, or no?
I feel like the original would carry me on a song. I couldn't do it.
Okay, that's not an insult to you. I think Phoebe Bridgers would carry just about anybody. I think when she starts going off about like I will never be your vegetable or whatever, I think just everybody's just like just checks out and they're like, yeah, I can't compete with this.
We had sex at Dodger Stadium or something like that. Just
Yeah, it's like okay, yep, I can't compete with this. But yeah, all right. So you've come a long way in 2021 alone, and I think you've got a really bright future ahead of you. So I'm wondering, what can we expect from Raegun going forward?
consistency. I just want to keep making music for myself because I think that's definitely what made me start popping off. Just making music for myself and letting people listen. And that's it really. I just want to keep growing up. I don't really have any I don't have any plans, just day to day. I didn't realize I was gonna get this big, so it's kind of hard to like look in the future. So
Right. And I mean, in this scene, at least, in other places, like, what? You don't have like 3 albums in the chamber, like, but I mean, yeah, in this scene, as long as you've got, a direction for what type of music you want to create and a passion to create it, seems like that's all you really need to get going.
exactly.
So, all right, thank you so much for meeting with me today. I really appreciate it.
The other day, I would really prefer if you just never talk to me.